Sir,
I'm doing really well. How are you doing, man?
I'm not doing too bad. First off, for many people that might not know who you are, how about you just tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, well, I'm SpikeVegeta. As you guys probably know me on the internet, you don't probably care about my real name, but yeah, I'm SpikeVegeta. I'm a speedrunner with a
Mm,
relatively popular channel on Twitch. I
mm,
speedrun predominantly Kingdom Hearts games and the Rayman series, among many other games. Yeah, that's probably how you know me.
mm. What would you say at the moment is your biggest focus in speedrunning right now?
My biggest focus right now, I'm kind of a weird speedrunner in that I feel like I'm always my focus is always split among many games.
Mm,
I think we all constantly want to learn so many different games out there, but my main focus right now, I'd say, is Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Proud Mode. In
mm,
case anybody's not familiar with that, it's the new Kingdom Hearts HD remix release
mm,
package. That includes Kingdom Hearts 1, Recom, and 358 2 Days cutscenes. But
mm,
it's focusing on one final mix in that. It allows you to skip cutscenes, which obviously shaves hours off that run.
mm,
Makes it just much more manageable to play. And since it's on Proud Mode, which is the highest difficulty, everything kills you in like one or two shots.
mm.
So it adds that level of challenge to it. I think it adds a lot of entertainment value to the run for the viewer and just more excitement for the runner themselves.
So, um, so proud mode. What made you decide, I want to do proud mode runs? Because you started off doing beginner and then you just moved on to proud mode, didn't you?
Yeah, I actually I think when I got the game initially, I think my casual playthrough I did on Proud Mode. It's a
Mm,
little different than a completely new release. I was obviously exposed to Kingdom Hearts 1 over the years,
mm,
speed running it, doing challenge modes of it. So I didn't feel like it was awkward for me to start at the Proud Mode level. Um, I, Prior to seeing, the game had been released in Japan for a year before that, and I had
mm,
seen a Hiroon's run of it, where he beat the game in 3 hours and 49 minutes on Proud Mode. And I thought the game, I guess when I look at the possibility of running a speed game, I think about a lot of factors, the pacing of it, how long or short the fights are, how varied the battle strategies are.
mm,
And the game's got a lot of just really unique strategies to each individual fight that's really fun to utilize throughout the run. That's a big thing I look at, especially when I'm running like an RPG.
mm,
Um, like I love Final Fantasy IX because it feels like almost every battle is completely different, as opposed to maybe something like FF8 or FF10 or FF7 with slots, where it seems like once you kind of figure out the main trick, like once you figure out slots,
yeah,
FF7 run's basically done. It's just hours of hitting things with slots.
yeah,
Uh, 8, same sort of thing. 10, you got the trio of 9999.
mm,
Nine's completely different. And it's the same sort of thing with Kingdom Hearts. There's a glitch in the game. We don't know if it's a glitch exactly, but it's we've dubbed it damage storage,
mm,
and it's essentially utilizing. I mean, I won't go into great detail about it because it's a little more complicated to explain.
mm,
But long story short, there's an ability on Proud Mode in this game called EXP0 that
mm,
takes away any experience you would gain in the fight, but allows you to then store your last physical hit, and then your summon will do equal damage to how whatever your last physical attack was. So if I do a physical attack, a finisher, ideally because it's most
mm,
powerful, and then I summon like Mushu or Genie, they do god damage, and they just end
mm,
fights themselves. But if the run was all just that, I wouldn't be interested in the run at all. I just felt like you're kind of cheesing and trivializing everything.
mm,
But it's just certain fights here and there that you get to use it for because you have to balance it. Because you obviously can't give up all your EXP or
yeah,
fight run just take way too long.
oh yeah,
So I think it's mainly the pacing of the run, the varied battle strats, and just the overall challenge of it. Again, having to know the ins and outs of every single fight
yeah,
because a lot of times when I would run like Kingdom Hearts 2 beginner, I would without even thinking about it, I would get hit, but it wouldn't matter because I'm taking like one hit point of damage. Whereas on
mm,
Proud Mode in this game, like I said, almost everything kills you in like one or two shots. So you need to always be paying attention to everything that's going on screen. Know like if this happens, how do I deal with it? When do I take safeties? When do I not? I think it's a really just like it's a good length, 3.5 hours, 3:45, and it's really exciting. I think. Not just for Kingdom Hearts fans, but I think anybody can just look in and get a pretty good idea for what's going on, the situation, the danger level. So,
well, that's pretty good. So what was your very first game that you've ever speedrun then?
My first game, well, as a kid, I guess I used to speedrun games, just as a child. So I had a couple of Super Nintendo games I liked to speedrun. Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, Mega Man X. And I guess I always had this feeling of wanting to see it wasn't necessarily beating the games quickly, but I always had a desire as a child to beat a game in one sitting. I always thought that was really cool. I wanted to do that with like my RPG games, but I thought that was literally impossible. At the time, it probably was. My first game that I ever seriously speedran was actually Kingdom Hearts 2. And that I found Speed Demos Archive back in 2004 after finding them in that random article they had in Electronic Gaming Monthly, a Shoutouts to EGM. And I said, wow, somebody else who has the same like sort of interests as I do. And I found the website, and then I sort of, through more searching around the internet, I found a website called Ultimate Garden that had a time posted for Kingdom Hearts 2, beat it in a certain amount of time, and I thought to myself, the game had just come out a few months prior, and I was like, I could beat that. I could beat that. And that's when my first segmented run popped up. I beat the time by like 17 minutes or something. And at the time, I was like, man, that's really good. And now that time is 1 hour and 1 minute slower than the current world record. So it's amazing seeing that game, how much it's been optimized over the last, 7 years. Really, mostly just the past year or so, how much it's down. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 was my first, I'd say, legitimate speedrun that I did.
Like I've been looking into actually running Kingdom Hearts 2 at some point. So how would you say was like Kingdom Hearts 2 was more difficult to speedrun than Kingdom Hearts 1? Like if it was like both on the same level?
Kingdom Hearts 2 and I guess we're talking about specifically 1.5. Those are the two. Well, see, I think if they were both on, obviously we're talking about Kingdom Hearts 2, I ran it at beginner, and 1.5 is definitely on proud mode. So that's a completely different element that it is to the actual worry of not dying. That I didn't have it. You almost didn't have it all in Kingdom Hearts 2. I would say if you put them on the same level, if they were both beginner mode, I think Kingdom Hearts 2 is much more difficult to optimize. I know the game takes a lot of flack for being, press triangle to win, reaction takes care of everything in that game. But when you actually are trying to optimize the speedrun of it, that actually has almost nothing to do with it. There's actually a lot of reaction commands that you avoid because the animation time is too long. I think Kingdom Hearts 2, because, again, we go back to varied battle strategies for runs I enjoy, you utilize almost everything in that game. You're going to utilize almost all your limits with Knock Smash, Whirligoof, Comet, Trinity, some of the Disney World specific characters, their limits. You're going to use almost every magic throughout the run: Fire, Blizzard, Thunder, Magnet. You're going to use a ton of different Keyblades. There's just lots of varied battle strats. For almost every fight's got its own unique battle strat. It's not just enter the fight and spam one specific move. Whereas Kingdom Hearts 1 was still, like, I don't know, I enjoy its combat system, but on the beginner mode, I guess it's a little more, it's easier to play, I want to say. It's much more just kind of jump and spam attack. And there is obviously more to it than that, but I would say getting a really respectable time in 1.5, I think is much, or just 1 in general, is much easier than getting a respectable time in Kingdom Hearts 2. I think there's a lot of people can feel like, oh, I know a lot about this game, I understand the route, and then speedrun it and be, 35, 40 minutes back of world record and feel like, what did I do wrong? And it's just little optimizations that have been found in every single fight. nuances about every enemy that you have to understand, which has been the biggest draw for me, I think, to the Kingdom Hearts series, is understanding that well every single fight.
Yeah. Speaking of 1.5, there's currently the 1.5 any percent tournament that's going on at the moment. Yeah. You excited for it?
Yeah, I think it's a fun culmination of the entire community right now. Us getting to come together and put on kind of a display like this. I'm especially looking forward as we get into like the later rounds, possibly us all getting together in calls and getting to get really hype about these like very high profile matchups with some who put in just tons of time. I think the most exciting aspect of it for me is just seeing how much the Kingdom Hearts community has grown to where we can have a tournament like this. A couple of years ago, I was one of, even just, I think maybe a year and a half ago, it felt like there were 2 or 3 people who ran Kingdom Hearts 2. And that was about it. And then all of a sudden, a little over a year ago, I saw a runner by the name of Tojimaru, who's in the tournament now. I saw him post a single segment time for Kingdom Hearts 1 single segment on the Sunday Sequence Break, kind of the big speedrunning podcast right now. And I said, oh, somebody else is running this game. And that was, I think, the case for most speedrunning communities before the AGDQs have kind of blown up in the last year or so, is that you didn't have speedrunning communities. You maybe had one person who played a lot of games. It's the same thing with I also run the Rayman series. I felt like I was about the only person who had any interest in running those games. Now, all of a sudden, I'm part of all of these communities, and that includes Kingdom Hearts, where we've got like 28 people in this tournament right now. And that's, probably only about half the people who have done runs of this game in the community. So, yeah, it's just exciting to me getting to look back now and say, man, this is how much we've expanded in these years. And I now have other people I can play this game with and talk about it with and talk strategies. And that's why we're seeing these times get lower and lower and lower, just because if you put more people's minds together about it, you're going to figure out more. So that's I'm ecstatic about that.
So if you had to pick one matchup that could possibly happen in this tournament, I'm pretty certain I know exactly what the answer is to this one, but what matchup do you want to see more than anything?
What matchup? Well, looking at I actually just got done looking back at the bracket to see how everything's shaping up. And the biggest thing about this game is it's so hard. I think I'll be pretty surprised if I see any like major upsets, because it is such a longer run. There's just so much knowledge you need of the game. But I'm really looking forward to the possibility of, in a few rounds, seeing Cyberman versus Sonic Shadow Silver 2.
Ooh.
Yeah. The 2 versus 3 matchup. I think Sonic's PB is only a few minutes behind Cyber's. However, Sonic's PB lost about 3 minutes right at the end of the run.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of screwing up the final Heartless room. So if it weren't for that, their PBs would be almost dead even. And they're currently set up to face each other if all the seeding, if there aren't any major upsets or anything. That's kind of the matchup I'm really looking forward to. I really want to watch that one live. Out of curiosity, what did you think I was going to say?
I thought it would be Cyberman versus Mist, to be honest. I was like...
Oh, sure. No, yeah, I mean, and that absolutely can be one as well. I guess my question for that is, I don't know whether Cyber or Sonic is going to be there to face.
Yeah.
I feel... I will be interested, I'll say, to see... no offense to myself, but I probably don't know enough about the beginner mode run. I've done like 2 full runs. I've mostly focused on proud mode in this game, but that speaks to, you actually need to know a lot about beginner mode specifically to run that category. You can't just kind of poop your way through it. I don't see myself necessarily challenging Mist, but if Biscuit can get past me, Biscuit obviously just set the Kingdom Hearts 5 Proud Mode level 1 run, which is an insane run, by the way. Anybody who has the time to go follow his channel at twitch.tv/biscuit047. That's Biscuit, Bizkit 047. He's an extremely good speedrunner. Deserves at least partner at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very good, and I think he's shown he has the skill level to where he could challenge Mist. Mist just might have a little bit too much expertise in the category of beginner for him to necessarily pull the upset. But I definitely think Biscuit has the skill level to do it. But I feel relatively certain that Biscuit's going to get all the way to the winners finals. And whoever faces out of Cyber or Sonic in that winners finals will be insane. So, sorry about that. I'm getting called. But yes. No, sorry. So that's the matchup I'm looking forward to. And then obviously, the Mistmaster versus the winner of that. That is what.
Yeah. So your first, I think your first matchup, if I've got the brackets up here, your first is against Andre, Mr. Santana.
Mr. Santana, yeah.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to that?
I'm looking forward to just getting my first matchup. There was, I originally was in a lower seed because I'd only done one blind run of the game, and it was based off of our personal bests.
Yeah. So
my time was like 3:22 at the time or something. But I finally learned the route and did a run and was able to produce like a 3:06, and that ended up moving me out of the first round and gave me the last bye you could get. So I was like, oh, that's cool. So I essentially won my first round match by doing that. But now I'm sitting like, I've been twiddling my thumbs waiting to get these matches going.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really exciting being in these tournaments. I've been in it for a couple other games before, but it's nice being in one that I feel like I have actually a shot of producing and, winning a couple matches possibly, as opposed to other games that I run a little more casually. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. Everyone looks like they're having fun having all these early round matchups, and it should be fun. Mr. Santana's a cool guy. He's been on my show. So, I don't know what his personal best is or anything, but obviously good enough to get through the first round, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think his PB at the moment is, I think off the top of my head, it's like a 3:19 or something.
19, nice.
Yeah. So it's pretty good.
I was about to say anything under 3:30, and you obviously have a great knowledge of the game. So it's it should be exciting, should be fun to get these matches going.
Right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Are there any shout-outs you'd like to give to anyone while we wrap this up?
Well, I definitely recommend any of you to just follow a bunch of members of the Kingdom Hearts speedrunning community. I know we need to have a Twitch team page is really what
we really need a Twitch team page. I was gonna say, we really do.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where there's enough of us to where every time when I finish, everyone wants me to raid somebody else's channel who's a Kingdom Hearts runner, and it makes sense because there's always somebody else on. There's always, if you want your Kingdom Hearts fix, there's gonna be one of us on Twitch ready to pull it off. I guess just a couple of the top channels, and I'd love to promote everyone right now, but just a couple of the top channels I'll talk about is, again, I already mentioned him, but twitch.tv/Biscuit047, Bizkit 047. A great Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 runner, runs a lot of higher difficulty, including level 1 runs. He's really maybe the most skilled runner in the group. But yeah, we've already talked about him as well. Twitch.tv/Sonic Shadow Silver 2. Predominantly just a great Kingdom Hearts 1 runner. He's run about every single category you can for 1 and 1.5 and has very, very good, very competitive times in all of them. Twitch.tv/The Mistmaster 1 has the current world record for beginner and proud mode. Also runs a lot of 3D Zeldas like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. And two more. Twitch.tv/Cyberman6 is really just an absolute machine.
He's not a human. He is a robot. I'm fairly certain he has mechanical parts.
He shows his he has a webcam setup, which you'd think for Kingdom Hearts wouldn't necessarily be that exciting. It's one of the best webcam setups I've ever seen, or hand cam setups that I've ever seen. And his level of mashing ability and just positions he holds controller is insane to watch.
Mm.
And one more, twitch.tv/Bloody Biscuits, BL00BDY, BIZKITZ, Bloody Biscuits. He was the original runner who came along and took my Kingdom Hearts 2 record last year and has absolutely pioneered that game with so many strategies. And he currently, actually, just last night, got the Kingdom Hearts original Final Mix world record for Proud. So, yeah, it's world records are changing like every day now. It's like, everyone's really putting in their time. And hopefully all of those runners and myself that I just mentioned will be making appearance at SGDQ for otherwise known as Summer Games Done Quick with the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 versus Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix bidding war. So if you guys are excited all about that, make sure to show up to Summer Games Done Quick. Hopefully it will be there. I made it through the first round of cuts. We'll see. A lot of competition, though. But show up there and donate for your favorite game from those two, and we'll see what happens.
Right.
So.
I'm seriously actually looking so forward to that. It's going to be awesome if that happens.
Yeah, we're pulling for it pretty hard. It's harder because the longer the games are, the harder it is to fit it into this. But yeah, they're really. I think there's a lot of popularity behind the Kingdom Hearts series, specifically the two main titles, obviously 1.5 and 2. And, hopefully, us putting it as a bid war and the quality we've produced in the speedrunning over the last year or so, we'll give it a good shot. So.
So where can everyone find you? Like on Twitter, YouTube, and all that? Where can everyone find you?
All of my handles are simple. They're all SpikeVegeta. Twitch.tv/SpikeVegeta. I'm at SpikeVegeta on Twitter, and YouTube.com/SpikeVegeta. So somehow that name was not taken by anybody else on those. So it makes it really simple for you to find me. But yeah, go click those follow buttons. Go click those subscribe buttons. It's good.
Right, well, thank you very much for taking your time today to do the interview, and thank you everyone for watching today. And hopefully we'll see you again soon with another great interview.
Oh, thank you so much, Rory.
Have a good day, and I shall see everyone later on.